$500 billion of funding is going to go directly to Black businesses so that we can rebuild our own community.
We in this time right now where they have already threw all this on us: oppression, drugs, guns, all of that. That's what Trump. You know I gotta throw a biblical invocation in this thing. And Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Stop there.
Depart.
What's the deal? What's the deal, man? PolitiKan the podcast. We back again, man. It's gonna be the season finale. We got the studio opening up, man. Top of the year, early January, late December, man. So we're gonna have to wrap things up as we get ready to transition back to the studio, man. The COVID had us doing all this virtual stuff. We gotta, life goes on, man. We gotta keep it pushing. You already know what we got, man. We got Alvin, focus on the future. My boy Yadzer, stay here always, you know what I'm saying? The man, the lion. How y'all doing today, fellas, man? How was y'all Thanksgiving, man? How was everything?
Man, Thanksgiving was good, man. I just chilled at home with the wife and the kids, you know, and that was about it. Had our little Thanksgiving meal. I remember us talking earlier last week. You know, we had our Thanksgiving around like 12.
Lucky.
So by time like 3, 4, or 6 o'clock hit, I was going for seconds, third.
Had it on time.
I had everything done by like 12:30 personally. I got up early. I started cooking. Then I got, I don't know, light bulb hit me. I was like, man, I wanted to make gumbo, but there's no way I can make gumbo. So I ran to the store, grabbed some crab legs and whatnot, made a couple extra side dishes, but I was done by 12:30. I was out by probably 3:45. Quick power nap, half an hour power nap. Got up, ate again. Yeah.
What about you, man?
Man, it was up and down. We went up the hill to my girl aunt's house. Everything was done around like say 3:30, 4 o'clock. We were shooting for 2, so that was an improvement on how things typically go. You know, one of these days we're gonna get to 12 o'clock like y'all. It's a working process.
Yeah. That's that staying at home stuff, man. We didn't go nowhere.
I wanted to talk about on one thing I wanted to talk about this week, man, was purpose. Because, you know, we all kind of have come into our own this year, you know, and it's like they say, 2020 clear vision, you know what I'm saying? If you're coming out the back end of 2020 and you haven't found your purpose, man, I urge you to turn this off right now and search within yourself, man, and find that purpose. So what does purpose mean to you guys?
For me personally, yeah, you know I wanted to go first, yeah. For me personally, purpose is almost like your calling. You know, a lot of people have different beliefs. They, they're, different religions or whatever. But, there's that one thing that you look forward to every day outside of the norm. Like not everybody's married, not everyone has kids, not everyone has a 9 to 5. But there's like that one thing that you find like true to you that, once you find it and you embrace it, if it is within a job, sometimes you never feel like you have to work because, you're just doing what you love. Or, like in me and Ya's case, because I love to speak on us as a team to a certain extent, like we've embraced that whole being at home, you know, being dads from home, being husbands from home, like, you know, protecting the pride, handling our business, and then creating business from home, like creating our lane and exploiting it, you know, all the way through. So I love, like, personally, my purpose, I knew it like at 18. I just didn't know I would get the opportunity to do it so young. I knew my purpose was to instill positivity and confidence in kids. So COVID gave me the opportunity to do it my way. Like, I couldn't be at school. I couldn't be in an after school program. I couldn't do the things that most people would do if it wasn't COVID. So by opening my doors and allowing people to come to me, it made me embrace my purpose. Like, I already knew that's what I was about, and I already knew I was doing it, but it almost it was almost like a two-handed push off the cliff. Like, hey, you've made it to the top, so now what's next? Poop. And there we go. We soaring now. So I feel like my wings bursted out my back, and I'm able to do a lot more, given that, you know, I've already accepted my purpose. What about you, y'all? You know, you got to follow up on that one, buddy. You know, you got to follow up.
Purpose for me is the igniter. It's the drive behind the calling. I think if you don't know your purpose, you would think a whole bunch of things are your calling, and you would dive into a whole bunch of stuff. But once it hits the fan or it gets too tough, you ready to book it. You ready to get out of it. You ain't ready to dive in and get it. And that has been 2020 for me. It was like how you were saying, it was time to jump off the cliff, time to go get it, with the purpose. And there was many days that I've been like, man, I don't want to do this no more, man. Forget this. I ain't motivating nobody. Ain't nobody looking at my stuff. Like, forget this. I'm done. But that purpose kicks in and goes, no, this is why you are doing what you are doing. If you stop now, X, Y, and Z is going to happen, or X, Y, and Z won't happen. So purpose and calling, it all goes together. You can have all the motivation you want, but if you don't have a purpose behind that motivation, you just gonna stop. So for me, purpose is the igniter. Purpose is the reason. It gives you the drive. Without a purpose, you just doing a whole bunch of nothing. And that's opportunity calling right there. Opportunity calling.
I feel that for
Facts. Literally, you got
the show though, man. For me, you know, purpose is just something that you can't fight against. You know what I'm saying? Once you find it, it's more detrimental for you to go against than it is for you to just live in it. You know what I'm saying? And I spent a time running away from my purpose because I didn't necessarily want the responsibility. You know, I've always been like a natural born leader. I've always been like a very outgoing person. I've always found success in just about everything that I try to do throughout life, whether it's sports, whether it's academically, whether, you know, it really didn't matter what field I went into. As far as work, I've done sales, I've done retail, I've done construction, I've done warehouse. Right now, I'm employed at a manufacturing company, and I found success in every field. You know, so for me, it's not about, you know, success, because people think, oh, I'm an NBA player, I'm successful. Oh, I made $1 million selling T-shirts, I'm successful. Success has nothing to do with purpose, and a lot of times people run away from purpose because they're so driven by success that they're scared of purpose because they think that purpose would take them away from the success that they're seeking. So for me, purpose initially was a hard pill to swallow, because when you're looking for financial gains, or you don't necessarily have resources, or you necessarily don't have the backing or the people to tap into the network, you know, it's very frustrating for you to just be able to, like, you know what, like Alvin said, just jump off the cliff and soar.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. Somebody not going crazy. There we go. We better.
I'm good.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, man. But purpose for me is the reason why we're here, man. You know what I'm saying? This is purpose to me is, you know, the reason why humans exist. This is why the Creator created us. We all were
Mm.
created with a purpose and a reason why we're here. And so many people go to the grave without answering the calling or without, ever finding their own calling. So when was it when you guys discovered your calling and how occur?
Um, I'll say for me, I realized it at 18. Um, I didn't expect it, realize it at 18, but it was one of these unique situations where like my grandma, she basically gave me this ultimatum to either come and visit them in Memphis or have like some cash sent to me basically. And so I took the chance, went out to visit my family in Memphis, and I heard this sermon at the family church where the pastor was basically saying that um, not until you get your priorities in check and you put all the things that mean something to you in line will you be successful and be able to live a life that you feel comfortable in. And that was the first time I ever felt like I ever experienced the Holy Ghost, knew what it was about. I got up, walked to the pew, cried my eyes out, got rebaptized, and accepted that, hey, I'm here for kids and there's really going to be no way of getting around it. And not until after having my first child and starting to work for the Boys and Girls Club did I say, I don't need anybody to tell me how to do this. I just need someone to believe in me to help me do it. Because, there's
Mm.
never anything you can sincerely do by yourself without a financial bank backing. You know what I mean? Like if I would have worked a different type of job and worked a different shift to where I could have, financed my own program back then, I would have done it. But I took it as a learning experience. I learned everything I could within the Boys and Girls Club for the 5 years I was there. And after mom's passed, I quit and said I was going to do it my way, win, lose, or draw, because I knew that's what my calling was. And I wish I could look back and say that I made a mistake, but I didn't. Like I'm almost disappointed at myself that I didn't quit before she passed so that she could have seen me doing this from home and wouldn't have had to, have to go with me to different schools and sit in cafeterias and hear me, make little kids cry about how they need to be more respectful to their parents or appreciate that they're still around, they're still available to give them love and show them love, and just do it from the comfort of my own house. But COVID allowed me to see that I'm even better than what I think I am. So why, why doubt myself, throw caution to the wind and go get it. So that's, yeah, man. 18 is when I realized it. And I guess 32 is when I sincerely embraced it. And just this 1 year has been testament to that.
Same, ditto, man. Uh, the calling came to me when I was 18. At that time, I graduated high school. I was I was I was into music and everything like that, and I was a fresh 18. Just got done sleeping outside of uh, a foreclosed house because I was too drunk and high on Robitussin to go in my house. So I slept in the foreclosed house, and I woke up and I was just like, man, I don't want to do this no more. And once I sobered up, I sat on my porch and I told God, yo, I don't know if you real or not, even though I've been in the church all my life. Don't know if you real or not. Only way I will know for myself is if I test you. So 18, moved to Oklahoma, started developing my relationship with God. That's when the calling got put on me, and I started motivating people and inspiring people to unleash their inner lion at 18. But I did it through the form of music, and so I started off rapping. Did that up to like 25, about about to 25. Shoot, even got what was I got because most people don't know, but Katy Perry's parents, they're actually pastors. So they prayed over me before. I guess I did a show at their church and they prayed over me and they're like, yo, you got something on you. So but like how you were saying, Caleb, I always ran from it though. I dived in it. I knew I was good at it, but then I got out of it. I dived in it, dived in something else, dived in it, dived in something else. And pretty much I would seriously say by 32, I took the calling serious. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is what it is. Um, Lost my 5-year job, and I was like, there's only one thing I know, and that's to go get it. But what am I going to go get? Go get another 9 to 5 when COVID's going on and nobody's giving out jobs? And that's when God came to me and was like, nah, you got a talent. I want you to double down, triple down on the talent that I gave you. So that's what I've been doing ever since, man. Doubling down, tripling down, doing what I got to do. And that's me walking in the calling and the purpose that he put on me since I was 18. And that's just unleashing people's inner lion and helping other people tell their story and just stop other people from being domesticated in their mind, just like I was.
Oh yeah, I respect that. For me, at 22, so I was looking for a new start. I had spent like majority of my life in the streets, hustling, bang bang, hanging, slanging, banging, doing everything you think under the sun. And I had reached a point where, I was like, you know what, I need to get away from everybody that I know. I need a fresh start. So I moved out there to Palmdale, and I went to AVC, to play football. You know what, let's bring back the football career. I messed up in high school, getting kicked out of school and messed up my football career. So let's go back and get to it. So when I was to AVC, I went up there and I took the placement test. And on the English, I got a 99%. On the reading and writing comprehension, I got a 98%. And I graduated from an adult school, went to 5 high schools. This is 4 years after I graduated high school, and I'm sitting there like, these results can't be real. This not me. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I really start to look at myself in a different light. Like, what is this? Like, maybe, there is something that I'm supposed to be doing with this. So my first semester in college, 3.8 GPA. I've never been good academically in school. I'm almost at a 4.0. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Everything going good. The football team, everything going straight. I'm living where they're not paying the rent. And the house was being foreclosed on. And I come home from school and there's a sale notice on the door. So now we got 48 hours to vacate. So now I invested my whole life relocating up here. And now I got 48 hours. I got to move back home to my mama's house. So move back home to my mama's house. I don't got no room no more. I don't got no bed. I'm making pallets, sleeping on the floor. I'm like, man, for the first time in my life, I'm trying to do right. And everything go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I start to, really stop. I really stopped sharing my failures. I caught a gun charge at 17 and a 5-year probation. So at this time, I was still on probation, my last year of probation from a charge at 17. So I'm like, as far as I getting a job, a young black man with a gun charge, I couldn't get work anywhere. So I'm like, you know what? Now I'm really on my ass. I'm kicked out. I can't go back to school. I got to give up. I don't even get to play the football season moved back to my mama house. Don't even got no room, sleeping on the floor. Can't find a job. You got a criminal record, and everything just looked like, man, I'm really trying to do right with my life. Everything going wrong, and I ended up getting kicked out of my mama house. Was homeless for about, I say, about 4 months, and I found a room for rent in Riverside. Went in the room in Riverside, and I had basically EBT and GR, and GR basically paid majority of my rent. So I basically just food stamps to live off of. I'm eating top ramen and bread, and I didn't have nothing. Like it was ugly. And I remember going to church, and I just went up to the altar call, man, and I got hands laid on me at the altar call. After it was like, "Do you need additional prayer?" And I just went in the back, and I had hands laid on me for about an hour and a half because I just broke down. Like, you know what? I'm doing everything right, and it ain't working for me. You know what I'm saying? And from that moment, after I left that back room after getting hands laid on me, I never put my head down ever again. That was the last time that I hung my head low, and I walked out of there like, you know what? Whatever gonna be is gonna be, but I'm gonna get to it. And that's where that phrase comes from. Where, you know what? I don't know what happened. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know what nobody else gonna do. But I'm gonna get to it from this moment going forward. And I just been getting to it ever since.
Man.
That shit, you gotta go through it, man. You grow through what you go through. And that's real.
And that's
So,
where the transformation
one
is,
thing
man.
I ran into when I was on myself. One thing I ran into was the self-actualization. And it's the process of looking at every major decision that you made in your life and removing every else and only looking at what you did and why you did it. When I went into the process of self-actualization, I looked at myself and I'm like, you know what? You're here because you put yourself here. Not because the house full of clothes on, not because didn't see the change in you and kicked you out. It wasn't because of none of it. It was because I made my bed. I basically put myself in this position. I had to realize that, you know what, it's my fault, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to get me out of this but me. So self-actualization is really the backbone of. I stopped pointing fingers at everybody else, and I'm pointing fingers at me. I can't control what happens in the world. I can't control what other people do. I can't control if they give me the support that I need. All I can control is what I do day to day and what I do tomorrow. And every day I wake up, that's all I can control. So every day I wake up, I try to learn something. I try to help somebody out. I try to live my purpose, and further my goals, as far as my walk and what what I'm here for. So, when was it that you guys found your why, and what is it?
You want to go first, y'all? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can. I'll go first on this one. When I found my why, I have a lot of whys. And it's all based upon, like how you said, decisions I made and decisions I didn't make. But my main why now going forward is to leave a legacy for my family and leave something where I'm dead and I'm gone. My people, you guys, my wife, my kids, everybody got something that they can remember me by. Whether it's, yo, this is some random dude that went into my DM and prayed for me. Yo, this is some random dude that gave me a pair of $300 Jordans he was wearing, and he just took them off his feet and he gave them to me. Whoa, this that one dude that does the little lion thing that unleashes your inner lion, mindset sensei, whatever it is. It went into leaving a legacy for my family because I wasn't thinking about my family when I was going around cheating on my wife. I wasn't thinking about my family when I was working a whole bunch of overtime at my job to my bills were paid, but I was trying to get that extra money and I was trying to get the promotion. And with me doing all that, what was being neglected was my kids. Where I went to go take my kids a bath, and my daughter's telling me, "No, daddy, that's not how the routine goes." And that's when I realized, yo, you out of the loop, bro. You don't even know what's going on in your own household. Yeah, you turning the lights on, you keeping the lights on, but you don't even know what's going on in your household. So that's where the whole why for me came in. um, Leaving a legacy for my family. My other why that came in was helping other get out of that domesticated mindset, man. Me in school, we totally opposite. I went into high school with a fourth grade reading level. You know, I graduated high school probably with an eighth grade reading level and comprehension. I was in special ed classes all the way up to the end of high school. You know, and when I got out of high school, systematically, I thought I wasn't shit. Not I didn't think I was anything. You know, and it took individual when I went after trying to be a firefighter and I had to become an EMT. It took an individual, I call him Sensei Lyons, that he came in my life, my EMT instructor, and he helped me get out of my mind frame of thinking I wasn't smart enough, you know. So now that's another why for me, helping out people that are stuck in that mind frame, so unleash their inner potential. I got a lot of whys, man, and those whys keep me up. Those whys get me going, get me up at 4:30. Those whys keep me doing what I'm doing, and guys keep blessing me with people around me. When I like this year has been the biggest year for my why, man. I lost, I lost I lost a relationship with I could say with one of my best friends, man. Uh, we our conversations aren't the same. We don't talk the same or anything of that nature. And but in return, God put people like you, Caleb, put people like Alvin, people like Coach Jay, and all these other people in my life where Chief Will, Amrock, and all these other dudes in my life, and I'm like, okay, cool. So with my why, it's based upon my past. So now I'm trying to help men elevate themselves because I realize you ain't no leader out to nobody else if you can't even lead your own household. And that's what I'm working with, helping other men lead their household and just helping people get out that domesticated mindset, man. And that's my why.
Well, for me,
Yeah,
um,
that's
I
gold,
got
man. That's unnecessary. What about you, Al?
for me, I got married early. I had my first daughter early. Actually, I got married and had my first child at 20 years old. So, my why I had early. You know what I mean? Like I knew what I wanted to be as a father early. I didn't really care about what job I did. I just wanted to make sure I was like the best dad I could be. Um, I always give my dad a hard time as far as when I talk about him or just when I talk to him because there was a lot of things that he avoided talking to me about. Like he might not have been a completely absentee father, but he did not give me that example of what a man was supposed to be. So um, it was a lot of competition for me. I try to use that as a why. A lot of my friends they always threw a lot of shade at me because I was so bright. You can kind of see my parents in the background up there. They're not very light skinned like I am, but it is what it is. So I had to like embrace that light bright mindset. I had to embrace the, not all the girls like me when I was younger. Didn't like myself as much. Um, I hated my name being Alvin, so I had to embrace like the chipmunk thing. I mean, it was a lot of like finding myself and rebuilding a foundation that I didn't know I necessarily needed. And as crazy as it sounds, once my mom got sick in 2011, it kind of made sense. It made sense that I was called for children because I was going to have a lot of children, and then the fact that I was going to influence them, her being sick actually went hand in hand with the message. They went hand in hand with me embracing who I was, because when I saw things I didn't like that kids were doing, it was easier for me to correct them when I would say, hey, your parents actually do care about you, regardless if you think they should be telling you more or you don't hear it enough. And one thing I know is that my mom, right there sitting in front of you, can't give me the same amount of love yours can. So I don't know why you're treating them so bad, where there's things you want from them that all you have to do is open your mouth and ask for it. So it gave me the opportunity to see that the why for me wanting to be a good son and hold on to her as long as I can actually went hand in hand with the purpose that I was supposed to serve as a man on earth. So it helped me walk by faith and not by sight. It gave me the opportunity to like compete with LeBron James from across the globe. Like I was like, oh wow, LeBron has an I Promise school. I'm at the elementary school I went to. I bet you I get to $1 million before he does, minus the Nike money, minus the NBA money. Then, ironically, 2 years after being at Desert Rose, they got $1 million worth of donations as far as within the district, California state laws and all that stuff. So there was renovations done that we all agreed that I helped contribute to. So there was things that like I took away from basketball that made me the dad, the husband, the son, and all that. And I just continued to compete internally. Like I wanted to be better today than I was yesterday. I want to influence more kids today than I did yesterday. And then once I ran back into Yajaketa, and even you, Caleb, because you guys all came within the same time with this COVID, I didn't think that the words that I was saying was as relevant. Like I spoke the same way to kids every day. And once we all got stuck having to look at social media, then more so than what we could look at in our face, I started seeing people like myself within you guys. And I was like, man, if I could get down with them, it'd be so much fun. It could be so cool. And sure enough, it was within God's plan for us to be together and do these type of things. So, you know, it to me, the why is we're going to die one day as well. So why not give your best effort in everything you do each and every day that you're alive? Because some
Yeah.
people don't make it. So, you know, and then it's always for moms. Like, why is she not here? Because she knew that if she stuck around any longer, I probably wouldn't be the man that I am. So she pushed me to the point where it was time for me to take the reins and handle my business on my own. So why is because why not?
Love it.
That's real though. Like when you say that you don't really know your influence, that's something that I struggle with, right? I've yet to really realize the spirit of my own influence. I don't. I'm so hard on my that when I run into people and people like, "Oh, you're a blessing," I spent so much of my life being the bad guy that when
Right.
I'm looked at as the good guy now, it's a weird feeling. I don't know how to take it. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to negative. Uh, One of my closest friends coming up, man, his name is Kelly Robinson, and he doing life in jail for murder. And
Mm.
I was like his biggest influence. All he wanted to do was be like me. A lot of the street shit that he got, it was just him trying to do what he seen me do. And as I started to shift gears and move away from the street shit, I kind of distanced myself from him because he was so stuck in that mentality, and he ended up catching the body and going down for it. And that's when I like, my influence has people losing in both hands because I influenced him to get into the streets. So now he done took a life, and now he done lost his life to the system. So now my
Mm.
influence is directly causing lives to be lost. And I said no more. That's not going to be my name. That's not going to be my legacy. And that's why my name means so much to me, is because I used to stand for nothing.
Mm.
Standing for that street shit, standing for bullshit, that means nothing. So I used to literally stand for nothing. And that's why I will not compromise my character. I will not bend, not fold for anybody in any situation, because I spent 22 years of my life doing the wrong thing. And now I spend the rest of it, using my influence for the right thing. And that's why I'm so adamant about, spreading love and helping people that I run into, and giving out every resource that I possibly can that people, hold back. And it's probably been to my detriment, because I probably could have held back a lot more money. But like I said, like I was talking earlier, it's about purpose. It's not about success necessarily. Me living in my purpose is success to me. I don't need the riches. I'm up to it. I ain't worried about all of that. I'm about my influence. And when somebody sees me, what do they think of me? How do how do they perceive me? Am I a man of integrity? Does my word mean something? And a lot of people word don't mean shit. And that
Right.
ain't gonna be me. So another thing that I ran into when I was self-actualizing was, you had to define yourself in one word. You have to define yourself in one word, and yielding. Because after I walked out of that altar call, I said, I ain't stopping, I ain't slowing down, I ain't yielding for nothing or no until, and so how would y'all describe yourselves in one word? If you had one word, what would it be and why?
Unsatisfied.
Mm.
My one word is unsatisfied, because I've always felt like I didn't have enough respect on my name. I always felt like people didn't accept me for who I was. They still to this day don't really know who I am. So knowing how hard I'm able to go, how dedicated I am to who I am and what I want to be, I haven't reached the top like I wanted to. Like, I realized that that mountaintop I got to and felt like that push, and now here comes my wings. I'm coming up on another mountain, and that means there's more climb to make. And I'm not satisfied till I get to the top. I'm not satisfied until I have a gold statue in front of the Palmdale City, like the main building, Palmdale City Hall. Like, I want a full on gold statue, like as if it's a Staples Center. I want people to put my name in the same category as Josh Shaw or Paul George or anybody else that's ever came out of the AV, because hey, they might have made it to the league and they might have the whole world's attention, and this is where they're from. But I was born here, I was raised here, and nobody's putting in the same amount of effort in the community as I do. So I'm unsatisfied with where I'm at, and I don't think I'll ever be. Not until the kids that when until the kids realize that who their dad is, or that my grandkids who realize who their great grandfather is, or maybe when I'm gone I'll be satisfied. I don't know, but right now my one word's unsatisfied.
Mm. Man, for me, oh, I got two, but if I had to pick one, I got two I got to choose from. And the two that I got to choose from, if I can describe myself in one word, it's lion. But the one that really comes to me at the end of the day is forgiving. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
go with that one. At the end of the day, everything that I do, um, the way that I move, the moves that I make, the joy that I have, it's all because I'm forgiven, man. I'm forgiven of of my past wrongs, whether my wife ever forgave me or she doesn't forgive me, whether the women that I used to talk to see me as a dirty dog or whatever the case may be, or they want to come out in the woodworks and say something. I don't know what it is. At the end of the day, I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven of misleading women. I'm forgiven for messing it up for the next dude to come in and that's really trying to pursue the girl the right way, but I broke her heart and doing the things I'm doing. I'm forgiven from taking my kids' life for granted, for focusing in on a 9 to 5 more than I was focusing in on them. Like I'm at the end of the day, I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven from like I got relatives that don't even mess with me no more because of a couple podcasts that I did, and they didn't like what I said on a podcast. And whether they truly forgive me and they don't hold a grudge or whatever the case may be, I'm forgiven. So that's the word that comes to my head. That's the word that I have to tell myself daily, and not to look at myself as the guilt, the shame, and walk with my head down, like how you were saying every day, like I'm forgiven. God told me, yo, you are forgiven. Colossians 3:10 tells me, put to death the deeds of your old ways and put on a new man. Why? Because you are forgiven. So for me, the word that comes to my head, if anybody wants to put a word next to Yajakedet other than lying, put that boy is forgiven. And that's the word I'm going with. And now that I know that I'm forgiven, every day I wake up, I go out. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get it, baby, and unleash the inner lion inside of myself. Why? You educated because you were forgiven.
Facts. What about you, Caleb? What's your why? Or what's your? I'm sorry, not your.
That's
What's your?
real. That's
What's your
real.
one word? What's your one word to describe you?
My walk, my why is my I I I, I told y'all as children, man. You know, I just refuse to stop. You know, some people want power, some people want money, some people want make a difference. You know, some people want legacy, and I like that. Money, the power. We want to help people genuinely. We want the legacy. You know what I'm saying? That's why you say, yeah, I want my statue because when I'm going, people gonna be like, man, he helped so many people. He does saying it. That's what I do it for. I'm not here for the fame. I'm not here for the money. You know, I actually did a podcast to set up a following for a book. So I, I wrote a book that I'm probably going to drop the first quarter of next year. My first book, and it's called, and it's just my story on how I got to this mentality and this mind state and the different things that I found on my journey. So I've been sitting on this book for about 2 years off social media for about, I would say, about 5 years. So when I
Wow.
reemerged on social media through my podcast, exposure, so that I could get a little bit of a following, so that when I dropped my book, it would, I would just be coming out of nowhere with it. It evolved into me getting a studio, into me becoming a journalist, to me getting a TV channel platform, to me doing Instagram lives and running into y'all happening and having to do this stuff virtually, and bring y'all on and just enjoying these conversations we have. So, it's just all came together. You know, it's just all scripto. And yeah, I wrote that book and then everything. And so no brand of I was coming up with the playlist on ESPN and on take and first take was like the hottest show on TV at that time. And I'm like, man, they ain't doing nothing but politicking. We have we have these conversations everywhere in our lives. Then they're in the hood mindset in the whole approach of the brand naming it politicking because people don't know that the gangsters on the block are having intelligent conversations about politics. You know what I'm saying? Don't know the people on the block are informing with their local assembly members and councilman members. You know, they just think that we on the block hanging and slanging. They don't know that we on the block getting the old heads is over there politicking and they kicking game and knowledge. So you want to go to the block so that you could go soak up game. You might drive by and you see a bunch of niggas hanging, smoking and drinking, but it's a lot of learning that's going on those blocks, and it's a lot of information that are shared on those blocks. So that was the whole inspiration behind the brand politicking. With you guys' brands, what was the motivating factor behind you guys' brand and why you decided to go that route?
With me, with focus on the future, I try to find something that went with my calling, and it's actually a funny thing. I had a friend at the time. Now I just consider him a learning experience. Um, I opened up my house, allowed this friend of mine to bring his girlfriend or his baby mama, his kids in my house. People go through it. My mom was somebody that always assisted people when they were in need, so I try to help them out. And I was coaching and working, and unfortunately at the time he wasn't. So I asked him to do me a solid. I purchased all the shirts, I purchased a couple hoodies, and I was like, "Look, I just need you to take this to AV Sports and Graphic, and I just need you to go ahead, or I'm sorry, All Things Engravable as a shout out, and I just need you to put hashtag focused on the future, meaning that we're all focused on the future." He took it and forgot exactly what I said and had focus on the future, put on all these shirts. And because I was upset and didn't want to change it up, I was like, I'll just, do it present tense. We have focus on the future. Um, and the whole abbreviation, like FOTF, it worked or whatever. And I just kept moving forward with it and eventually just gave up on the fact that it was supposed to have an ED at the end. But it was more or less like, I know that children are the future. So that's why my focus is on them. But because they're the future, it's our job as a community, as the village, to help them realize what their potential is and help them find their why so that they can become whatever it is that they want to be when they grow up so that they can continue to move the culture, move the community, move the world forward. So we focus on them because they're the future, and then we instill in them how to focus on their future, and it just went with that. And then, for example, my shirt that I have on, the logo, shout out to the Retro Kings out here in the AV. The CEO, his name is Nestor. I coached his daughter when I was coaching basketball before COVID and everything, and I used to referee his son. And I made my teams do assignments the season that she was on my team, not knowing who he was. I knew who he was. We played basketball against. I had no idea, but he was the guy that even some NBA players actually purchase his stuff on Instagram. And so I had them doing assignments every week. The first question was, "Why are you on my basketball team?" And so they wrote their answer and gave it to me at practice on Friday. I would read that book, I would reply back to them, and then give it back to them on Saturday. And what I try to do was instill an open line of communication, whereas if either the girls or the boys had some type of question they didn't feel comfortable asking in front of their peers, they could still ask me. And then if it was something questionable, I could then show their parent proof that, hey, your child is feeling some type of way about whatever the situation or the circumstance may be, and it would help them find out what was going on without um having to make them nervous about opening up and being honest or whatever. So she ended up having such an amazing time on the team, and so many of the girls bonded and became good friends that I didn't know, just like you said, Caleb, about not knowing how influential you are to other people. He basically looked at me and was like, man, I really respect the man that you are and what you're trying to do for the kids out here, because you're helping the peers of my kids, just like you're helping the peers of your own. So what's the reason behind your brand? So as we're talking about it, I had no idea that he was actually designing it as we were talking on the phone. We get off the phone like an hour or two later. He asked for my email and he sends me the JPEG and of how it looks. And it was actually like a galaxy theme and all this good stuff. I couldn't get it printed just yet because everybody other than him couldn't do it, but I did order some from him to do it for me. But he gracefully did that and didn't charge me $1. And it actually has 6 big stars because at the time my family was a sixth, and then this one right here references my mom, and then there's a whole bunch of little like dots around it that represents our community and how we're all in this together, and our focus is on the future. So that's where you have like the scope or whatever. And I mean, once again, Nestor at Retro King, shout out to you for making my dreams become a reality with the way the merch at least looks. But the brand is, it just goes within the calling of my life. What about you, Yah?
Oh man. It it used to just start off with me in a way of Yajakedet, which stands for appointed to show God's name and anointing. Um, but more I really started getting into what that really means. That's when he gave me the direction of a life narrator. And as a life narrator, uh, my job is to help other people tell their story. And so I've been real big on that. So my whole brand is pretty much helping other people tell their story, figure out what their story is, and have a voice. And so with that, I fully dove into working for my wife. That's what I do. I work for Brand of Encouragement. Brand of Encouragement is just the name that you hear. We just going around encouraging people. Whether it's through monumental people, me being a mindset sensei, my wife working on her things, whether it's through the Man Thing podcast, me helping small businesses bring awareness to their brands, with me doing my a dad's tool bag. It's all predicated on me just being a life narrator, helping other people tell their story, get their story out there, and helping any way I can with the voice that the God gave me, and bringing the energy that is contagious but never duplicated. So that's pretty much what I'm about, man. Being a life narrator, helping other people out, however I can with all the different talents that God has given me, whether it's through motivational speaking, whether it's through video editing, photography, narration. I can go down the list and everything of that nature, but that's it. Letting other people tell their stories, whether it's me jumping on the PolitiKan podcast, so my people jump on it and get you more exposure. And like I already had in my head, minute you said you had a book, I was like, okay, cool. When it's time to make some content around it, I got you. because it needs to get out there with my boy Mayor, focus on the future. All right, I'm going to run with that, and that's how I always been in my life. I always been like wanting to help other people get to where they want to go, because I know at the end I'm going to get to where I need to be, and I'm gonna own, like, since we're talking about the AV, I'm gonna own the old cactus,
Yes, sir.
aka stage, whatever they want to call it. I'm gonna own it. Are they gonna give me that gym? I don't want the school. I want the gym. That's all I really want. And on top of that, I'm here to knock off Eric Thomas. So then that's just what it is. But the whole thing, man, is just being a life narrator, helping other
I
people
feel that. I
tell
feel that.
their story. That's it, man. I'm just trying to help people tell their story.
It's- 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 Speaking of Eric Thomas, man, he said something that with me forever. That to be successful, you have to be willing at a moment's notice to sacrifice who you are so that you can become who you want to be. And 2020 was my sacrifice. Who I used to be is gone. And this is who I
Mm-hmm.
am forward. That nigga dead. He gone, he out of here. You know what I'm saying? And I got rid of him willingly. My whole approach, my mindset, all the attachments that comes with that old person that I used to be, it's over with. And I'm living in my purpose, and I'm walking my walk. Like you said, walk by faith, not by sight. And that's definitely where I'm at in this point. Is just put my head down, man, getting to it, waking up the next day and doing it again. I can have massive success today. Tomorrow, what happened today don't even matter. And if you
Facts.
approach it with that mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody say that the secret to success is mentality. The secret to success is, having a positive mind frame. The secret to success is having like-minded people on your side to keep you motivated and to keep you going. And that's the true secret to success.
Yep.
You know, it's not about you; it's about your team. If you're a rapper, you don't rap and get signed to a spot where you're the only rapper. You get signed to a record label where there's 50 other rappers on the roster, and there's 50 other people that do other things in music to help you better your career. You get on a basketball team, you don't get drafted to the NBA and you're the only player on the team. You get drafted to a 15-man roster and you fit within the system. And if you play your role within the system, then the team has a chance of winning the championship and being something great. Everything that you do in this universe, you cannot do it alone. You need a team, and you need to be able to rely on your team. That's why having like-minded individuals is the secret to success. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all brothers dearly, because without y'all, I couldn't do none of this. You know what I'm saying? I would just be on this path alone, and that ain't. But this is the season finale, man. We gonna wrap this up. When I bring PolitiKan back, it is no longer a podcast. It will be audio on podcast platform, but PolitiKan will be a show. We're stepping up production. We got the new studio out in Riverside, so we setting this up. We're gonna be like ESPN. We're gonna be like CNN. PolitiKan. We're a show. We're a network. Go download that channel. Go download that Apple TV channel. Fire Stick. We coming for y'all. I just heard Android coming out with a TV, so we coming for their platform also. The 24/7 live stream will be to YouTube. You know, I took it down, but I'm gonna bring it back. We got a lot of things in place. Oh, radio station, PolitiKan Radio. The Empire does not have a hub for independent artists to get the music played. They do not have a hub for them to come and continuously get interview exposure. So we are going with an internet radio station. The studio also in Riverside, California, Riverside Studio, the new home of PolitiKan Broadcasting, man. I don't know how I get any of this done. It's all by faith, man. You know, and that's how you know when you live in just wake up and do the work. The rest is gonna come to you. Man, that's real. But let's get some shout outs before we get out of here, man.
Shout out to my mama. Shout out to my kids. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to Brand of Encouragement. Shout out to PolitiKan Broadcast. Shout out to Yaji Kedik, Caleb. Shout out to Ronnie, who's not out here or on the podcast today. Shout out to Miss Cherie, right? Shout out to and last thing, shout out to all my day ones from 8th grade, 9th grade, all the way forward, middle school, elementary. Like Caleb said, those of you that still motivate me to be my best, I appreciate you. I love you, and I hope I could do the same thing for you.
Man, shout out to the platform that I'm on right now, man. PolitiKan podcast, broadcast, the whole deal, man. I appreciate you, Caleb, from the bottom of my heart, man. You're doing wonderful things, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to Focus on the Future. My boy Mayor Armstrong, aka Alvin. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Just down to what you did for your nephew today, dressing up as Spider-Man and everything. That was awesome, man. Keep putting the kids first because they are the future. Shout out to my boy, Coach Jay, running wild. We gonna get you in California one day, bro. And then shout out to my beautiful wife, Jess, boss lady, brand of encouragement. Shout out to my kids as well. And then shout out to everybody that messed with each of us. You know, we can't do it without y'all. And we appreciate you guys. We thank you for the love. But we about to go into 2021. So we don't need just likes. I'm just letting y'all know now, likes ain't going to get us anywhere. We need y'all to share stuff out. We need y'all to comment. We need y'all to be engaged. If you ain't gonna be engaged, get off the page. That's just where it's at right now for the new season. And more great things to come. And hi to the haters, hi to the stalkers, and we see y'all as well. And y'all ain't gonna stop what we doing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
I was
Now,
about to
before
say,
I
I was
get out
ready.
of here, I gotta bring one back. You know, when I first met Yaji Kedik on Instagram, I had to hit him with this one. I had to hit him with this one.
This is my
If
quote,
they
man.
put
I
you in a
love this
cage
quote,
with
bro.
a lion, just because you don't try to eat the lion in the podcast, man. We out of here. We out of here, man. I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm gonna get to it, man. We'll be back at the top of the year, man. Check out all our content. Man, check out when y'all check Coach J. Like they doing their thing, man. Man, thanks. I'm gonna have to slide through and be on a couple of those episodes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
got you, baby.